You awaken each dawn with the burning realization that you are destined for greatness, that you could conquer more, build more, and forge a legendary legacy. Yet, an invisible chain binds your limbs. It is not mere sloth. It is not the absence of fortune, nor is it truly cowardice. It is the void of the one element most warriors hunt for their entire existence but rarely capture: ironclad discipline. Not the fragile discipline that leans on the crutch of motivation. Not the fleeting focus that ignites only when the heavens smile upon you. I speak of the relentless discipline that operates when your bones ache, when shadows of doubt cloud your vision, and when every instinct begs you to surrender. The caliber of discipline that refuses to bargain. Master Silas possessed this unbreakable resolve. And it is the exact reason he walked away from 60 blood-soaked encounters without a single defeat. Not because his muscles were the thickest, nor because his strikes were the absolute swiftest, but because he understood 7 unforgiving truths about the warrior's mind. Truths that most men discover far too late, if they ever comprehend them at all. Today, these 7 sacred scrolls will be unrolled before you. But heed this warning. Silas did not peddle the soft illusions of comfort. He taught the harsh art of survival, the philosophies that kept samurai breathing in an era of constant war will slice through your modern rationalizations like folded steel, severing a fragile reed. Before we draw our blades, I demand a confession from you. Carve it into the comments below. What inner demon paralyzes your hand when you know you must strike? Is it the whisper of fear, the poison of procrastination, the fog of doubt? Name your adversary in the ink below, for identifying the beast is the absolute first strike in slaughtering it. And if this philosophy stirs your blood, if you are nauseated by cheap inspiration that vanishes in 3 days and you hunger for ancestral laws that endure for a lifetime, subscribe now. Strike that bell, because every week we descend into the depths of warrior psychology, martial resolve, and the bitter truths that forge absolute metamorphosis. Let us commence. Chapter 1. The Wanderer's Plea. The Crimson Valleys, Year of the Dragon. A wandering swordsman named Rui approached the legendary Master Silas after watching him execute a flawless victory in a public courtyard duel. The clash had consumed a mere 8 seconds. A single, breathtaking arc of steel. Perfect, lethal. Rui was 22 winters old. He had conditioned his body for 6 grueling years. His stances were technically sound, yet he had tasted bitter defeat in his last 3 skirmishes. Not fatal encounters, as they were sparring bouts, but humiliating enough to shatter his warrior spirit. Master Silas, Rui spoke, lowering his head until his brow nearly touched the earth. I have studied the way of the blade for years, but when the true moment of conflict erupts, the ice takes me. My mind empties. My limbs turn to stone. What secret eludes me? Silas stared through the young warrior for a heavy eternity, then delivered a question that would fracture Rui's reality. Do you grip the hilt when your soul is cold and unwilling? Rui stammered. I train when the fire burns within me, when I feel strong. Then you are merely an actor on a stage, Silas replied with the weight of an anvil. You perform, and performances rely on a pleasant audience and fair weather. True forging happens only when the furnace is choked with ash and the conditions are miserable. He motioned for Rui to follow. Over the ensuing 6 moons, Silas would carve 7 doctrines into Rui's spirit. Not stances of the sword, not elaborate footwork. 7 absolute laws of discipline that transcended the physical weapon and focused entirely on cultivating an indestructible mind. This is the exact crucible Rui endured, and what you are about to learn. Lesson 1. The mountain and the wind. Motivation is the passing wind. Discipline is the eternal mountain. Build your fortress on stone, not on the breeze. During the inaugural week of his apprenticeship, Silas dragged Rui from his slumber at the 4th hour of every dawn. Torrential rain, bone-chilling frost, profound exhaustion. None of it mattered. "Master, my limbs are still bruised from yesterday's trials," Rui whispered. "Excellent. Strike while broken. That is when the iron of your will is truly tempered," Silas commanded. Rui was utterly bewildered. In his former temples, the masters only commenced drills when the disciples were rested, vibrant, and eager. Silas's doctrine was an alien landscape. "Hear my words," Silas instructed. "Motivation is a phantom emotion. Emotions rise and crash like the chaotic tide. Some mornings the tide is high, some days it is gone entirely. If you wait upon motivation to draw your sword, you are constructing your citadel on shifting sands." He moved to demonstrate. Silas retrieved his heavy wooden bakken. His arcs were immaculate, terrifyingly precise, and born of fluid grace. "Do you assume I feel the fiery urge to drill in this freezing mud? My joints ache with decades of war. I long for the warmth of the hearth. Yet I strike." "Why, master?" "Because discipline never seeks permission from the throne of comfort." The principle. Motion ignites the fire. The fire does not ignite motion. When you march forward despite the screaming protests of your flesh, you shatter the chains of procrastination and crown your internal sovereign. Modern application. You sit waiting for the mythical, perfect moment to launch that enterprise, to speak your truth, to begin your climb. But true warlords do not wait for the stars to align. They step forward, and readiness follows. Every single time you bow to your inner resistance, you are actively practicing weakness. Every single time you march into the teeth of resistance, you practice invincibility. It is your daily battlefield. Rui's breakthrough. After 21 days of agonizing dawn rituals, the illusion shattered. Rui ceased looking for the spark of motivation. He simply marched into the mud. The fire eventually followed, but it was irrelevant, for his action was no longer enslaved to it. Lesson 2. Charge the shadow. Do not flank your fear. Ride straight through its center. By the 4th week, Silas orchestrated a scenario that froze the blood in Rui's veins. "Today you cross blades with a titan." "But master, my technique is not ready," Rui protested. "Readiness is a myth of the cowardly. Fear does not grant you time to prepare. Draw your weapon." The challenger was Kale, a towering, battle-scarred vanguard who possessed unnatural speed. Rui was thoroughly dismantled and thrown to the dust. Beaten and humiliated, Rui spat blood and asked, "Why force me into a slaughter I could not possibly win?" Silas's voice was devoid of pity. "Because the shadow of fear does not shrink when you run from it. It feeds on your retreat and growth." The principle. Every time you evade a profound trial, you are actively sharpening the blade of your own cowardice. Every time you lock eyes with the terror, even if it leaves you bleeding in the dirt, you are forging supreme courage. Silas had intentionally sought out the most terrifying warlords of his era, not out of blinding ego, but for supreme strategy. "External adversaries test your parry," Silas explained. "But the absolute war is fought behind your own eyes. Each step you take into the dark devours the demon within." Modern application. That brutal conversation you are avoiding is mutating into a dragon the longer you wait. That leap into the unknown you refuse to take is poisoning your confidence while you hesitate. By dodging the crucible, you are hardwiring your neurology to believe you are frail. Courage is not the magical absence of terror. It is the drawing of the sword while your hands tremble. The warrior who attacks alongside his fear teaches his soul who the true master is. Rui's breakthrough. After a month of stepping into the arena with absolute giants, Rui realized the trembling never truly vanished. but it no longer anchored his feet. He could unleash his fury while the fear screamed in his ear. That was the alchemy of courage. Lesson 3. The lethal edge of simplicity. Complexity is merely weakness wearing the mask of sophistication. In the 8th week, Arui arrived at the temple courtyard clad in magnificent new armor. It was deeply lacquered, adorned with silver crests, and visually magnificent. Silas did not blink. Remove it. But master, this armor will deflect the killing blow. You are carrying vanity, not victory. You drag the weight of a fool. Silas resided in a state of absolute emptiness. One katana, coarse woven robes, an empty room. Why do you hold no treasures? Rui inquired. Because every shiny trinket I claim claims a fraction of my attention in return. I purge my surroundings so my mind remains sharp. The principle. The more you strip away, the more pure, unadulterated energy remains for what truly matters. Every trivial distraction you invite drains your focus. Every hollow obligation you accept assassinates your time. Every possession you hoard steals your attention. Silas's emptiness was not the mark of a beggar. It was the ultimate architecture of concentration. Modern application. You are drowning. Infinite choices, endless scrolling, a barrage of trivial notifications across social media and emails. Your mental vanguard is shattered. You believe you are connected. You are merely dispersed. Excess weakens focus. Attention is a finite treasure. Sever the useless strings. Cut the excuses. What remains when you strip away the noise is concentrated, raw, lethal power. Rui's breakthrough. Rui sold the silver-crested armor. He emptied his quarters. He severed the unnecessary commitments. Instantly, his training improved. His technique had not magically altered. His mind simply became undivided. Lesson 4. Conquer the emperor within. The ultimate conqueror first overthrows his own heart. During the 12th week, the heat of sparring pushed Arui to the breaking point. Enraged by a misstep, he hurled his wooden sword at the stone wall and roared at the heavens. Silas observed the tempest with cold detachment. When the echo faded, he spoke. You could slaughter 1,000 chieftains on the battlefield and still die a slave to your own boiling blood. But I was frustrated. Precisely. You allowed a fleeting spark to command your empire. That is not strength. That is slavery. The principle. Sovereignty over one's own pulse is not optional. It is the foundation of survival. Without it, you are a powder keg waiting to erupt at the absolute worst moment. Silas drilled internal mastery with the exact ferocity he used to drill the thrust. Wild impulses shatter consistency, he warned. Pride poisons the tactical mind. If you cannot rule your own breath, the enemy will rule your destiny. Modern application. Reflect on the empires you have burned down because you let rage speak for you. The foolish decisions you made because your ego demanded control. This is a fundamental failure of internal sovereignty. He who rules his internal kingdom commands the external weather. He who yields to his temper becomes a drifting vessel, reacting to everything and controlling nothing. Rui's breakthrough. Silas forced Arui to master the art of breath control and the discipline of delayed response. Count 10 heartbeats before reacting, Silas instructed. Let the tempest pass, then move the piece on the board. Within weeks, Arui became untouchable in sparring, not because he swung faster, but because his mind remained like still water under immense pressure. Lesson 5. The stone defeats the river. The warrior who strikes the pell every single dawn slays the prodigy who strikes only when inspired. In the 16th week, a dazzling swordsman named Orion entered the valley. He moved like lightning. His natural reflexes were a gift from the gods. The village whispered he was the next legend. Silas remained unimpressed. Will he be standing in the mud tomorrow? Silas asked Arui. Most assuredly. He is kissed by the divine. Talent means nothing. Watch. Orion spun brilliant arcs of steel for 3 sunrises. Then, the novelty rotted away. Motivation faded, inspiration dried up. He vanished into the mist and never returned. Rui, however, remained, striking the wood, rain or shine, exhausted or energized. 6 months later, Rui dismantled warriors who possessed 10 times his natural gifts. The principle, gifted hands without an iron, will become a tragic frustration. Unrelenting consistency without a single drop of natural talent becomes absolute mastery. True ascension is hidden. It happens backstage in the dark when nobody is watching. Modern application. You launched the crusade with trumpets blaring. You started the gym, the project, the new skill. But the moment the applause stopped and the grinding reality set in, you laid down your sword. The titans who claimed the thrones you desire did not have more talent. They simply had more consistency. Kaizen, continuous improvement. Small, unstoppable inches. 1% sharper every dawn. Invisible in the short term, devastating in the long term. Rui's breakthrough. Through the agonizing boredom of repeating the same fundamental cuts, Rui realized he was outpacing the golden children of the province. Relentless forward motion through mundane consistency was his true magic. Lesson 6. The Forge of Anguish. Pain is not the enemy's poison. It is the master's chisel. In the dead of winter, week 20, Silas dragged Rui to the frozen waterfalls. No fire, absolute discomfort. The biting ice threatened to snap their bones. "Master, my blood is freezing. This is unbearable." "Good. Bear it anyway." Why invite suffering when it isn't necessary? Because comfort creates weak men. The principle. Agony is not a sign of failure. It is the roar of refinement. When the muscle tears, it is begging to be rebuilt as iron. When the mind fractures under difficulty, it is expanding its capacity for resilience. When discipline stings your pride, your very character is being sculpted. Modern application. You spend your days constructing fortresses of comfort. You flee from the awkward silence. You abandon the diet at the first hint of craving. You dodge the arduous task. Every time you trade eternal glory for a moment of soft relief, you're training weakness. The universe does not bargain. It will hurl devastating storms at your gates, whether you are ready or not. If you have spent your life hiding in soft blankets, your walls will shatter when real pressure arrives. Rui's breakthrough. Following a season of embracing the brutal cold, Rui's threshold for torment expanded massively. The trials that once made him weep became entirely manageable. He hadn't found a lighter burden. He had forged a stronger back. Lesson 7. The final blossom. Draw every breath as if the executioner's axe is already falling. In the 24th week, Silas brought Rui to the central square to witness the execution of a warlord. As the head fell, Rui trembled. "Why stain our eyes with this death, master? Because you strut through this world as if you are immortal? You postpone, you delay, you wait for the perfect moon." Silas's voice was darker than the abyss. That man on the block. He thought he had time too. He was wrong. The principle. Memento mori. Remember death. Not to poison your heart with depression, but to ignite a raging inferno of urgency. When you truly accept that the end is inevitable and unpredictable, you cease wasting your hours. Modern application. You operate as if decades are guaranteed. You postpone that conversation, that project, that monumental shift. Days bleed into weeks, years evaporate into smoke, and suddenly you look back and realize you spent your entire existence preparing to live, but never stepped onto the battlefield. Those who grasp their own mortality live with burning intensity. They do not hoard their energy for a tomorrow that is not promised. Rui's breakthrough. The concept of eventually was permanently erased from RUI's vocabulary. He trained with a terrifying, hollow intensity. He struck the Pell as if it was his final moment on the earth. That shift from "I have time" to "I have now" changed everything. The epilogue. 6 moons later, Rui stood in the center of the arena for his first authentic duel since walking into the Jade Valley. The air was electric, but Yi Rui was a void. He did not search the sky for motivation. His body simply moved. He felt the cold breath of fear, yet walked directly through it. His mind was unclouded by vanity. He ruled the silence in his chest. He stood on a mountain of invisible repetitions. He welcomed the sting of the wind. And he drew his blade, knowing that this breath could be his absolute last. The clash consumed exactly 6 seconds. Rui won. Later, he bowed to Silas. "My deepest gratitude, Master. Your lessons saved me." Silas interrupted. "They were never lessons. They were blades. Sharp truths meant to slice away the rotted weakness within you. Now you walk the path alone. These 7 laws are not doctrines you learned. They are the blood in your veins. Your choice." Master Silas passed from the mortal realm, having fought over 60 duels without defeat. Yet, his greatest conquests were never against the men he left in the dust. His ultimate victories were the internal slaughters against his own laziness, his own terror, his own ego, and his own desire for comfort. The 7 principles he imparted to RUI were not merely the arts of war. They were life architecture designed to build a supreme man. Now, the blade rests in your hands. You can shutter this screen, drift back into the numbing fog of your routine, and tomorrow you will be the exact same fragile creature you are today. Or you can make the blood oath. You can decide that the iron has pierced your soul and that you will forge these 7 laws into your daily walk. Not when you feel motivated, not when it is convenient, but right now, today. Because acting without negotiation is the very first strike against your own weakness. If you have survived to the end of this scroll, carve this into the comments below. I walked the warrior's path. Subscribe to this sanctuary for weekly strategies that forge mental titans. Not fleeting hype, but philosophy that outlasts the grave. And if this message shattered your illusions, strike the like button so the algorithm may carry this torch to others stumbling in the dark. The path begins now. Will you walk?